Magandang araw sa inyo lahat. Ito si Christian at ang init ng usapan tungkol sa impeachment ni VP Sara Duterte. And today we have someone who's actually in the thick of things. At pag-uusapan natin ngayon yung issue ng impeachment from the perspective of somebody from within the committee. Ladies and gentlemen, Congressman Terry Redon. Congressman Terry, salamat sa magpunta mo dito sa show natin.
Magandang araw, maraming salamat sa pag-imbita.
Kong Terry, alam naman ng lahat ngayon na itong usapan ng impeachment ay sobrang init at sobrang importante. Pero syempre maraming labanan ngayon with regards to the legalities of the impeachment. One of the key problems na nakikita ko ngayon at sinasabi nga nung kampo ni Sara Duterte ay unconstitutional daw itong ginagawa nyo. Ano na naman yung nangyari doon at bakit nasasabing unconstitutional?
Well, una sa lahat, hindi ko alam kung saan ho nila hinuhugot yung pagtatawag na unconstitutional kasi nung nakaraang taon, nagrereklamo sila na nagmamabilis yung Kongreso doing the express route. Ngayong nagmamabagal ang Kongreso doing it piece by piece, step by step, within procedure, through the House Committee on Justice, ayaw din nila. So, I'm quite certain the Supreme Court will basically just junk this entire petition of Attorney Torion and all of the Duterte lawyers and allies.
Lumalabas dito kasi sinasabi ni VP Sara na hindi daw niya alam at wala daw siyang kinalaman dito sa pagsampa nung pag-file na tong TRO na to. Do you think ba na magagawa tong TRO without the knowledge of the Vice President?
Well, that's what she said. Hindi ba? Pero I think we have to go back to what had happened in Araw ng Davao. I think many of the petitioners in that case actually shared the stage with her. No? So I don't think may maniniwalang mga kababayan ho natin that tumakbo po itong petisyon ni Attorney Torion na hindi po alam ng atin pong pangalawang Pangulo.
Okay. Pero pag tinignan natin, ang nilalaban kasi nila ay yung pagsusupina ng mga iba't ibang mga financial documents, SALNs, yun daw sinasabi nila ay lumalabas parang fishing expedition. Kasi bakit daw tayo gagawa ng impeachment proceeding, yung Committee on Justice, without all of these evidence supporting the substance for the impeachment?
Well, una sa lahat, hindi yung totoong wala ebidensya yung mga complainants. No? Meron silang ebidensya at time of submission. Yun yung una. So all of the COA reports were there. All of the video documentation relating to the death threats were there. There was a mention of the SALN of the Vice President. So basically, it is essentially complete. More importantly, yung Madriaga affidavit was also there. No? So basically, the subpoenas on the tax documents, corporate documents, everything else within the hearing proper, it is just to get additional evidence and documentation. And wala ho nga nagsasabi in the Constitution and in the rules na kailangan po complete yung pong mga dokumento at ebidensya at the time of filing.
Okay, yun yung nakikita ko kasi kaya actually I'm very surprised that you said that you're very confident na the Supreme Court will not honor this TRO request. Kasi para sa akin, nagulat na ako nung first time na ginawa ng Supreme Court yan na I actually was very surprised when they came up with, I would call amendments to the Constitution when they came up with the new rules. Na I was surprised then that the Congress abided by. Even though after lumabas yung motion for reconsideration, parang nag-backtrack yung Supreme Court. Sinabi nila, hindi na natin nire-require itong due process. Tapos, pero bahala ang Congress kung anong gagawin nila. What do you think will happen kung, for example, ngayon, naglabas ng TRO ang Supreme Court? Susundin ba ng Kongreso yan at this point?
Well, ang sinabi naman ho ng chair po ng House Committee on Justice, if there is a TRO that is going to be issued, we will respect it. No? But until and unless there is a TRO, we will proceed with the proceedings until the very end. So, ibig sabihin, kung walang TRO, tuloy po.
Okay.
Yung po nga pagdinig. And I'd like to explain, in the Supreme Court resolution, yung pong linabas ho nung nakaraan, ang sabi ho ng Korte Suprema, while they may look into how all of these things had happened, they will not question yung pong determination of sufficiency in form and substance po ng proceedings po namin. So, ibig sabihin, I think in that Supreme Court resolution, ang sinasabi doon, pagka nagsalita na yung Kongreso on substance and on form, di na namin yan papakialaman.
Oh.
Yun yung unang point.
Okay.
Pangalawang point ay, ang nakalagay ho ron, sabi ho ng Korte Suprema, the rules itself basically afford due process to any impeachable official, including the Vice President. So, kasama ho doon yung hearing of evidence. At babanggit ko kasi very precise yung sinabi. So the Justice Committee conducts appropriate hearings. So ibig sabihin, the question, kasi kahit yung hearings itself, parang sinasabi, ba't ka nag-hearing? Dapat, magpagbotohan nyo na lang yan on sufficiency in substance in form. Pero sinabi ho in that Supreme Court resolution, which was the one that had finality in the last couple of months, sabi, the Justice Committee conducts appropriate hearings. Secondly, the committee proceeding, which is what we are doing now, emphasizes institutional screening and committee review. So ibig sabihin, kasama ho talaga dyan yung pag-isa-isa ng mga dokumento at ebidensya. Yun yung pangalawa. Pangatlo, the committee has the power to receive evidence during the hearings for the purpose of evaluation. So ibig sabihin, wala ho yung sinasabi nila na pag hindi mo yun sinabmit at the time of filing, hindi na pwede. Hindi yun totoo. Ibig sabihin, during hearing, pwede pong mag-receive ng ebidensya yung committee. And therefore, yung pong subpoena powers ay inherent in the conduct of a hearing. So, ibig sabihin, whatever that they're talking about na this is a fishing expedition, hindi po yung totoo.
And also, no, babanggitin ko na rin, that I recently heard the interview with Karen Davila with Congresswoman Luis Tro. At dito sa interview na to, parang sinasabi niya na you're acting like a trial court because of the power to cite people in contempt. Di ba, is Karen right on this one or wrong? Or how do you feel being a member of that Committee on Justice?
Well, I think she has to refer to her lawyer. Not like wiggle her way out of something that she doesn't entirely understand. No? Kasi very precise yung wording eh. And inherent in hearings would be compulsory processes like subpoena and yung pong mga contempt powers po ng mga komite. And just to finalize, kasama
Sure.
doon sa binanggit po in that resolution, yung pong nature of hearings are for the presentation of evidence, which includes documentary evidence, witnesses, and other evidence. So ibig sabihin, yung Korte Suprema na mismo yung nagsabi na yung pong proceedings ng House Justice Committee, pwede ho lahat yun. Ibig sabihin, well within the mandate, during House hearings, yung pong pagkuha ng additional na mga ebidensya, pagpapatawag ng witnesses, at pagkuha po ng mga dagdag na mga dokumento, which is basically the Supreme Court challenge being undertaken by the Duterte lawyers.
Right. Okay. Wow. Okay. I like the way you broke that down para naintindihan natin mga mga mamamayan, I wonder, maybe that's why you're very confident that hindi magagrant ng TRO na to because nga mismo yung Supreme Court they'll have to parang overturn their own statements, and their own resolution if they did that.
Well, kasi nga precisely they mentioned matters relating to House Committee on Justice hearings. Hindi ba? Kung wala 'yon, wala tayong pag-usapan, pwedeng bukas pa yung usapin and they will have to reprosecute it again.
Right.
Hindi ba? Pero nabanggit yun in that resolution na very important within committee proceedings yung screening po ng mga ebidensya. So, kasi kung hindi ho magpapahiring, how can we actually know, for example, na credible si Ramil Madriaga? He will really have to be subjected to a test of credibility during the proceedings, hindi
Right.
ba? Kasi talaga naman we have to see kung tama ba, totoo yung mga sinasabi niya. Yung una. Secondly, yung po sa SALN, why are we getting all of the tax documents, all of the corporate documents?
Right.
Kasi nga, unang sinasabi, there is a wealth gap between the cumulative salary of the Vice President at around 30 to 40 million and the stated net worth at 88 million. So, ang kailangan nung maipakita doon, a revenue from other income as lawyers and as business persons
Right.
na more or less mga 200 to 400 million. So if we see from the documents na, meron na pala siyang 1 billion over the course of 17 years, di wala tayo pag-uusapan. There's nothing for this particular ground to proceed.
Right.
Kasi nga, talaga na pala malaki ang kita po ng mga negosyo Pero syempre, on the other hand, pagka hindi umabot ng 200 million yung revenue over the course of 17 years, nung lahat ng combined businesses po yun, din doon natin masasabi na parang unexplained wealth yun.
Pero at the same time, meron yung issue with regards to the bank accounts. I'm surprised na hindi pa nasupina yung bank accounts considering sinupina na niyo lahat Why not supina the bank account records?
Well, una sa lahat, I think marami pa hong mga dokumento kasi na talagang we want to be able to look into. And syempre, malaki yung pagkakaiba ng bank accounts and yung pong mga SALN, tax documents, corporate documents. Kasi yung po mga yun, mga naka-repository sa mga government offices. So, ibig sabihin, I think wala ho masyadong problema to get all of these things, no? And more importantly, if we are able to build the case without relying on the bank accounts. Kasi titignan naman ng whole on tax documents and corporate documents would be the tax payments and the financial statements year on year. Eh.
Right.
So, ibig sabihin, pagka nakita natin halimbawa doon na, well, malaki pala yung binabayad nilang buwis. O malaki pala yung kinikita nila. Di wala ho tayo. We don't even need to look into the bank documents at all. No? Pero I think that is something that can still be looked into at a future time.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I remembered pag tinignan natin yung SALN ni VP Sara, was it the latest one was at 88 million, di ba? Okay. Actually, what I think what happened is not the growth of the SALN or the net worth, but the underreporting na nakikita kong problem. Because pag tinignan mo nga yung bank accounts niya, the joint account with her dad, si Digong Duterte, lumalabas according to what Trillanes is saying, there's over 2.5 billion in that bank account. Now, yun yung mas nakikita kong problem is you underreported your SALN at 88 or 88 million compared to the billions that's actually in your bank account. Shouldn't that be the angle or at least one of the angles that we should be looking at?
Well, it can be one of the angles, no? Pero yung po unexplained wealth kasi, merong prima facie showing yun eh. Ibang bagay pa yun. To be clear, ibang bagay pa yung underreporting or misreporting ng SALN. Ibang violation yun eh. Pero yung unexplained wealth kasi, you have to be able to look into a pattern over the course of years.
Okay.
Hindi ba? So, ibig sabihin, kaya very important ho yung forensics nung pagkapapakita na meron pong total cumulative income over the course of her time during as a vice mayor, and vice president, and yung pong mga sinasabi ho nilang kita nila from all of the other profession and business income. Kasi yun yung paliwanag nila eh. The reason why it reached 88 million, dahil magagaling po sila mga abogado. Bakit mababa daw ba, maliit ba yung acceptance fee nila? I think these are the talk points in defending the net worth of the vice president. Secondly, meron silang ice plant. Hindi ba? At malalakas ang mga negosyo. So, okay, if that is the case, then let us look into the financial documents of all of these things.
Okay.
And not just on SALN, but also on everything else.
Right.
Which is not just unexplained wealth, but also the death threat against the president and yung pong misuse of confidential funds.
Yes.
So, I don't think kailangan hong pagbanggain ito pong mga bagay na ito. And more importantly, yung pong SALN naman ho, tinatapos lang po ng Kongreso. Yung kanya pong patakaran relating to SALN release, no? So I think that is something that will be undertaken in a due time, no? So wala ho tayong problema po ron. Kasi nga, pinipina lang po ng Kongreso yung kanila pong patakaran sa bagay po na ito.
What about the issue with Ramel Madriaga? Are you going to be calling him to be, is it called a witness or is it a resource person?
I will be called whether as a witness or a resource person on the 14th. Kasi the subpoena was issued on him already.
Okay.
So he will be tested on credibility and kung totoo ba yung lahat po ng mga pinagsasabi niya doon po sa affidavit po na sinubmit sa amin.
So this is a good opportunity also for Duterte-allied members of Congress to be able to test him, to see nga kung credible nga to. Kasi nga, they're saying nga daw na hindi daw credible according to, was it La Chica na nagsabi na hindi naman daw niya kilala or wala naman daw nangyaring ganun transaction. Will Sara Duterte's other security detail ata yung si La Chica eh. Will they be invited also to be,
I think they will be allowed to participate in the proceedings. No? Lalo kung mababanggit yung pangalan nila. I think justice would require na maipakita din ho nila yung kanilang side in the course of the hearings.
Right, okay. So, but for now, is Ramil Madriaga in the custody of Congress or no?
Not at the moment, but we will coordinate with the BGMP and the court that has jurisdiction on him kung paano ho ba yung kanyang pagpunta sa Kongreso when he is called in to testify.
When he is called in to testify, how many, is it session days or how many hearings will he be allowed to for members of Congress to test his credibility and also to para mabanggit yung kinasalaysay dito sa issue na to?
Well, I think a hearing or two would be sufficient already to determine kung maayos ba yung kredibilidad niya, yun yung una. Pangalawa, kung totoo ba yung mga sinasabi niya.
Okay. And ang nabalitaan ko nga, sinasabi nga, I think Congresswoman Luiso said na the entire Committee on Justice hearing will finish in, what, by May? Tama ba yun?
We will decide at the end of April kung we will require further hearings through May. No, pero I'm quite certain tapos na kami by end of May. And then we can have a report to be voted on by the plenary.
To be voted on. Okay. And then, so that's the thing about that I was curious about. Kasi pagkaalala ko dati, parang hindi naman paggaling sa Committee on Justice, kailangan pa ba talaga iboto? Is that something new or has that always been around?
Okay, ano naman ho yan? Talagang ganun yung proseso.
It's always been like that?
Yeah. So we have to vote in committee and then we have to vote in plenary.
Okay. And you need 1/3 vote lang?
In plenary, yeah.
Right. Okay. And do you believe that members of Congress, you will have the numbers to be able to file this impeachment and submit it to Senate?
Well, like what we had previously stated, we just have to look into the vote on substance. No?
Mm-hmm.
It had 54 votes then. So I think we have more than half of what is required for the 106
Right.
to get the 1/3 majority.
Mm-hmm.
No? So I think that's something that we have. I don't think it's a number that is difficult to surmount at that time.
Yeah. Especially after you conduct the Committee on Justice hearings, pag lumabas sa atang mga ebidensya, I think it's going to be stronger pa nga eh. Now, how do you feel about this? Alam ko kasi that, of course, beyond the Committee on Justice, there's a lot of pressure on members of Congress to try to destroy your credibility through different issues like the SALN, the flood control. Also on the motive, naalala ko kasi nung lumabas yung deklarasyon ni Sara Duterte na tatakbo siyang presidente, then they came up with a narrative na sinasabi nga na the only reason ginagawa niyo to is because she's running for president to prevent her from running for president.
Well, I don't think so. Alam po ninyo, wala naman ng pakialam yung accountability kung tatakbo kang presidente o hindi. So, whether she's going to run or not, magtutuloy pa rin naman yung proseso ng impeachment eh.
Right.
In fact, yun na ho yung nangyari ngayon. Even if she declared her intention to run for president, nagtuloy pa rin ho eh.
Right.
We still found sufficient in form, in substance, in grounds, and then we are here today at a hearing proper and getting further evidence on the impeachable offenses.
Okay. And also, I think there's a lot of threats that are coming towards the direction of the members of Congress. Dahil nga sinasabi na parang if you proceed with this, maaalala namin kayo in 2028. Anong ano mo doon? Anong masasabi mo doon? Like, does that affect the decisions of members of Congress? Because para sa mga taong bayan, I'll tell you, iniisip ng mga Pilipino ngayon na ang Kongreso ay masusway ng mga ganitong mga banta sa kanila.
Tingin ko hindi naman. Kasi nga, this is an accountability question eh. Malayo pa yung 2028. You still have like 2.5 years of governance and leadership that you actually have to do.
Yes.
Hindi ba? So, tingin ko we have to focus on what matters today. And there are two things that matter today. Accountability through impeachment and responding to the crisis that we have today because of the price of oil. Di ba? So, these are things that we have to focus on today. 2028 is such a far away place to be in.
Right, okay. Good na rin na binanggit mo yun, yung crisis natin ngayon. Another one of the talking points that I'm hearing is, sinasabi nga, bakit ang Kongreso nag-aabala sa impeachment? Ngayon na may problema tayo, may crisis nga tayo dito tungkol sa issue ng oil. It's affecting everything. Pesos at 60 pesos right now to the dollar. Prices are going up. Ano yung masasabi mo sa mga ganong klaseng mga, opinion?
Well, una sa lahat, hindi yung totoo yun. Kasi nga, Congress is able to undertake accountability measures like impeachment at the same time that it is responding to economic relief concerns. No? Like what we had stated, over the course of 2 weeks, we were able to pass the removal of excise taxes, suspension of excise taxes on petroleum products. At the same time that we were undertaking impeachment proceedings. No? So, tingin ko kaya kong gawin ng mga kababayan po natin yan ng magkakasabay at kasama ho ng Kongreso.
Okay, sige. And on top of the Committee on Justice, di ba you're also the chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What is the Public Accounts Committee in charge of naman, or what is it that you guys are doing at the current moment?
At the moment, talagang ang focus po ng Kongreso, particularly on accountability and impeachment. So, ibig sabihin, there are of course minor concerns that the Public Accounts Committee is looking into, but not as of course, large a concern as the impeachment of the Vice President.
And if that's the case, when you talk about impeachment, I'm going over all the talking points just so I want to hear it kasi from somebody who's actually there in Congress. Yung isang narinig ko din sinasabi nga regarding that is parang may double standard daw. Parang bakit pag kay Sara Duterte itong proseso natin na mas parang dinidiin daw, pero kay BBM daw parang pinalampas lang daw. Do you think that's unfounded?
Hindi yun totoo kasi una sa lahat, ano ba yung laman ng BBM impeachment complaints? In the first impeachment complaint against the President, puro news reports lang ho yun eh. And then you compare it with the Sara Duterte impeachment complaints. These are congressional records. These are COA reports. These are video documentation of 2 actual threats against the President. No? Yun yung una yung she will contract a hitman, and secondly, she would want to decapitate the President. No? Those are 2 documented video evidence. No? And yun nga, and lastly, yung pong mga financial documents relating to SALN and tax and corporate documents.
Okay.
So
and,
magkaiba.
yeah.
It cannot be compared.
Right. Even on the even on evidence itself, ang layo talaga eh, di ba? Kasi ako mismo when I was looking at it, I still couldn't find, kung meron, di ba? Why not, right? But I couldn't find much on BBM's impeachment complaint. Rather, that it came across to me na parang ano lang siya, parang hearsay lang at this point eh. What about the issue with the 18 Marines na sinasabi nga na merong direct connection si BBM dito sa mga issue ng flood control. Will that be taken up, and can that be taken up in impeachment? Or wala na? Kasi nga nagawa na tong filing at dumaan na sa Committee on Justice. Can there be another impeachment?
Relating to the President's
Yes.
participation in the maleta, supposedly po?
Yes.
Ba? Well, first of all, syempre there's a 1-year bar already on the President. And also with the Vice President. Kasi nga,
Yes.
meron na pong proceedings being undertaken today. But alam po niyo, mabigat din talaga yung butas nung affidavit kasi talaga ng 18 Marines. There are several points that basically demolishes the credibility of the affidavit. No? Yung una, they mentioned there na yung pong John Paul Estrada, one of the executive assistants of Zaldico, was pictured there. Pero if you look at the publicly available photographs of Paul Estrada, iba ho yung tao na identified doon sa affidavit itself. No?
Okay.
Yun yung una. Secondly, they listed in that affidavit siya Congresswoman Laila De Lima as a person na nakasama ho dun sa listahan ng tumanggap po ng either maleta, envelope, or paper bag. No? And again, what did she say? She said na she's not even a congresswoman then.
Right.
Hindi ba? What were they trying to explain? Nagkamali lang daw sila sa pagkakalista, pero tumanggap pa rin daw siya ng paper bag. No? But, that basically puts to question yung pong truthfulness ng affidavit itself. Kasi syempre, talagang confident kayo dun sa listahan po ninyo.
Right.
Na nakatanggap po lahat ng mga ito, pero only for you to basically backtrack and then say na, hindi na, nagkamali lang kami. Yun yung second. Pangatlo, at ito yung sinasabi ng mga netizens, paano naman nangyari na doon sa litrato ng mga kaperahan at merong pong tao, may hawak po ng takip ng rice cooker, yung pong tao po doon sa litrato na yon. So para it doesn't really make sense. At ang pakiramdam ng mga tao, parang AI daw.
Yes.
Yung pong litrato na yun. Kasi nga, if you really wanted to show a pile of cash, sure, why not? Pero bakit may hawak na takip po ng rice cooker yung pong tao pong nasa litrato?
Okay. Okay, so basically the affidavit does not hold water.
So basically, if they really wanted to proceed from that affidavit, they needed a little bit more.
Okay.
Hindi ba?
Kasi ako when I read the affidavit, I think naman there's a grain of truth there. A grain. I don't understand bakit dinagdagan pa nila ng marami pang issue kung issue lang naman nila is with the president eh. So that's why for me parang ang dating nun is para siyang Pampagulo lang talaga to try to distract the public. Are you guys distracted by these issues or no?
No, not really.
Okay.
I think we have a laser focus on the mandate of
Yes.
the committee to basically undertake impeachment and go through with it up until the very end.
Okay. And then how do you reconcile with yung mga mga tulad ni Bong Suntay and the statements they make? That reflects badly as well on Congress, doesn't it? Or don't you think it's just, or do you think it reflects badly on him and not on Congress in general?
Syempre, it's a concern for Congress because Congressman Suntay is a member of Congress, no? Pero syempre, we have seen it play out naman po over the course of the weeks, no? So we will just see how the Ethics Committee will actually act on the complaints, no, against him.
Okay. And what about but ano, by the way, I do appreciate then kahit papaano the debates that are happening, for example, with Rufus Rodriguez or with Congressman Marcoleta and their the points that they raise, but at the same time it seems a little bit disruptive. Do you feel that maybe okay, actually let me change the question. How do you feel Chairperson Congresswoman Luis Troy is doing as the chairperson of the Committee on Justice?
I think she's been very fair, no, to everyone. Ibig sabihin, pinagsasalita po lahat ng mga kailangan po nga magsalita. Obviously, for as long as relevant po to the matter, no. So, for example, si Congressman Rodriguez and Congressman Suntay was allowed to basically say what they wanted to say. No? Kasi their interjections naman po were relevant to the matter being discussed, no.
Right. Okay. And is there a possibility that the Committee on Justice will vote that there's not enough evidence for probable cause? Is it probable cause na ba? Hindi ba substance yung
Finish na yung substance.
finish na probable cause?
So
Akala ko dalawa lang yun.
form,
And
substance, grounds, and then lastly would be probable cause.
Okay. So do you think there's going to be enough evidence for that? Or do you think there's a possibility na there's not enough evidence for probable cause?
Well, tingin ko essentially complete na po yung evidence eh. Sa totoo lang. But we wanted to get a little bit more clarification on some of the particular details and some of the grounds.
Okay.
Kasi syempre, kasama ho yun dun sa ano talaga eh.
Okay.
Due process po for the respondent and impeachable official.
And I like what's happening right now sa totoo lang kasi the people get a chance para marinig talaga yung kaso and to be able to understand what's going on and to make their own minds up kung ano ba talaga nangyari. What do you think happens now if it does make it to Senate? Given that it's a political exercise and given the difference in the composition of the Senate compared to Congress, how do you think the Senate will appreciate the evidence submitted by Congress when it comes to the impeachment?
Well, syempre I don't want to jump the gun, no? Kasi meron pa rin naman po nga plenary vote, no? Pero assuming for example na it will cross into the Senate, syempre una, hopefully they will proceed with trial forthwith, no? So ibig sabihin that is the constitutional mandate. And secondly, tingin ko naman po all of the senators will look at the evidence based on the evidence itself. So yan po yung inaasahan po natin sa atin pong mga senator judges pagka nasa kanila na po yung impeachment.
Kasi Kong Terry, alam mo, for me, one of the things that the people are skeptical about and are worried about is the lack of accountability nga. Yun na nakikita natin eh. Gumuho na talaga eh. Wala nang accountability for public officials ngayon. This is probably one of the last stand that we can make for accountability. And that's why all eyes are on Congress right now, on the Committee on Justice, para malaman natin. And even on Senate when this happens. Para malaman natin if there's still accountability because the people have lost trust with the Supreme Court. I'm impressed with the members of Congress na hindi nga kayo, na sinundan pa nyo yung ruling ng Supreme Court. Because if I was a member of Congress, I would have said, we're a co-equal. Paglalaban ko yan. And I'm not going to listen to what Supreme Court is saying because they're also impeachable. How do you feel about that? If you want to answer, you don't have to, but how do you feel about that as a member of Congress, as a co-equal branch of government?
Well, syempre, ultimately, yung pong Korte Suprema naman, meron ho silang kapangyarihan talaga to look into grave abuses of discretion, no? So, we will give it to them.
Okay.
Pero syempre, tama yung binabanggit mo rin na, for example, for purposes of initiation of impeachment and the hearings, determination of sufficiency in form and substance, iniiwan ho talaga ng Korte Suprema, yun po sa Kongreso. And it is something that paninindigan ho talaga namin up until the very end. And the resolution of the Supreme Court actually said it already. Hindi sila makikialam doon sa pagtatakda or pagdidesisyon ng Kongreso on sufficiency in form and sufficiency in substance. So, yun po panghahawakan. I mean, we can debate on everything else. Pero yung pagsabi po nila na yun, panghahawakan po namin yan.
Okay, good. Kasi I mean, at the end of the day, impeachable officers din ng mga Supreme Court justices. And if they can run to their own branch to try to stop an impeachment of their own, then that ruins the entire accountability process for all three branches, di ba? And that's why it's important. As a matter of fact, I was so affected when nung nakita ko nga yung ginawa ng Supreme Court that I wanted to file an impeachment against the Supreme Court justices. Although I was like, sige, tingnan na lang natin what Congress was gonna do. But right now, I'm glad that you guys are taking your job seriously. I think that I do believe you're gonna be fair about it. So honestly, kung matuloy o hindi yung impeachment at umabot sa Senate, I think you're gonna be basing it on evidence naman no matter what. Do you believe that Sara Duterte will really forego all her rights to due process and to explain her side of the story?
Well, I think they have to talk again among each other, yung with the lawyers and with all of her allies. Kasi two things, no? Una, sabi po ng mga abogado that they will not participate at that point because we are undertaking unconstitutional proceedings.
Right.
Yun yung una. But secondly, the Vice President also stated that the committee should junk all the complaints against her based on lack of evidence. But those things are contradictory. Hindi ho pwedeng magsama at umiral ho na magkasabay yung dalawang posisyon po na yun. Kasi basically, pagka sinabi ng Pangalawang Pangulo na ibasura mo yun, you're basically admitting the jurisdiction of the committee. Kasi the one that will junk the actual case would be the committee. Banggang-bangga po yun doon sa position po nila ng defense panel ho nila, sa sulat nila na we will not work with you, we will not participate because you are doing an unconstitutional proceeding. So, they have to decide among themselves ano ba talaga.
Right. And not only that, for me, parang ito na nga yung pagkakataon nila para hindi nga umabot, para hindi matuloy yung impeachment is by actually proving that all the evidence is false, that there is not enough evidence. And by then, hindi na aabot sa Senate. And when they say it's unconstitutional, what I wonder is, if they're saying the process is unconstitutional pero umabot to sa Senate, does that mean they're not going to participate in the Senate as well? Or they're saying that's the only time they're going to participate?
Well, magulo din yun, no? Kasi nga, if you say that this is an unconstitutional proceeding, everything else, even yung future consequences of today, dapat hindi ka kasali ron. Hindi ba? Pero we will see. We will leave it to them. Kasi in fact, kahit naman po dun sa rules po natin. So for example, even if you don't file a reply or an answer, pwede ka pa rin naman mag-participate and you can still elicit your evidence in the course of the proceeding. Kasi that is the requirement of due process.
Okay. So even if you don't reply, so who will present the counter evidence?
And for example, in fairness to them, nag-file sila ng answer ad cautelam, no?
Okay.
Hindi yun answer point by point, but okay na yun. But assuming, for example, that they don't answer, pero halimbawa, sabihin nila na, hindi, gusto namin mag-present pa rin, pagbibigyan pa rin sila within the rules.
Right. Okay.
And more importantly, yung Supreme Court already stated that the rules of the House basically assure due process
Yun.
to impeachable officials.
Can Duterte allied members of Congress present evidence to counter whatever the evidence that's being presented in the Committee on Justice?
Sila ho bahala. Wala naman ng problema yun.
Okay.
Pero to be clear, during the hearing proper, ang pwede lang mag-present ng mga ebidensya, yung pong complainant at yung pong yung respondent herself. No? Hindi ho pwedeng iasa sa mga abogado yun. Pero for example, gusto ho halimbawa ng member of Congress na mapagsabpina ng mga whatever document,
Okay.
whether for or against the Vice President, tingin ko malayo naman ho yung mga member po ng komite na gawin po yun.
Okay. And can the public watch ba these hearings in Congress mismo?
Oo naman, bukas po yun sa publiko.
Okay. How do they get to watch?
You just have to coordinate with the Secretary General's office, I think.
And then they'll allow it. Okay, see, oh, that's interesting. Okay, we're at a historic moment right now, and I'd love to see what will happen. Kasi for me, at the end of the day, kung totoong may kasalanan, dapat talaga ma-impeach at dapat ma-convict. Pero pag kahit sinasabihin natin tatakbo siya for president, that's just the consequence of her wrongdoing, and that's I don't think that's the reason why we should start or not or stop the impeachment. Let's just go on to another topic because it's important din yung oil crisis. I wanted to know what is Congress doing as well to try to help our citizens, yung ating mga mamamayan, para lang ma-alleviate yung pain of the increasing prices all over of everything in the Philippines.
Well, una, yung pong suspension of excise taxes on petroleum products, nakasana po ng Kongreso yun, batas na ngayon eh.
Okay.
And we were able to do it over the course of 2 weeks.
Okay.
So yun yung mahalaga. So gusto ko natin mangyari dyan, talagang the President should deliver on that commitment to basically either suspend and remove yung pong buwis po. So hopefully, within the next 2 to 3 weeks, ma-implement na ho ng Pangulo itong bagay na ito.
Okay.
Kasi nga, malaki ho yung epekto nun eh. 10 pesos per liter po yung maibabawas.
Wow. Okay, that is a big deal.
Yun nga. At as much as that. No? Malaking bagay po yun. Kasi ano nang pinag-usapan natin ngayon? 100 pesos per liter, 110 pesos per liter.
Yep.
So, ano ko yan? Kumbaga, and then, syempre, sinasabi ng economists na mas importante yung mga targeted subsidies sa mga transport sector, agricultural sector. Wala tayong problema doon. Gagawin ho ng gobyerno yon. Pero very important din ho to respond to the demands of a vulnerable middle class eh.
Yes.
Kasi ang totoo naman, hindi naman yung nagbabayad ng buwis eh. Hindi ba? Ito po yung mga merong isang sasakyan. Hindi na nila magamit yung sasakyan nila ngayon. Kasi nga, sobrang mahal na po ng presyo ng produktong petrolyo. Pangalawa, ito po yung mga may-ari ng mga motor. Na parang kahit yung pang motor, hindi na ho nila malagyan ng gasolina.
Yeah.
So, basically, they are placed into a very difficult economic situation today na yung pong removal of excise taxes, malaki ho yung maitutulong pa rin ho sa kanila.
Okay, and with regards to the issue of the supply of oil mismo, that parang we only have 60 days or some are estimating only at 45 days. Is there something that Congress can do, or is that more of the executive department that handles that aspect of it in terms of the actual supply?
Yung supply kasi, executive commitments yun eh. Pero syempre, we can do oversight as part of Congress. I think that is what Senate is doing now, no? With their hearings. Pero I think yung Congress would want to be able to focus muna on the actual output, like yung excise taxes. Kumusta na ba yun? So hopefully, magtuloy-tuloy po siya at maipatupad po ng Pangulo.
When do you think yan maipapatupad? Kasi considering na napasa na nga sa Congress, kailan tingin mo?
Signed na into law yan eh.
Oh, it is, okay.
Few days ago. So, it's just a question of implementation na po ng executive offices, no?
And normally, how long does that take, do you think?
Siguro 2 to 3 weeks dapat maipatupad na yun.
Sana. Sana. Well, it's Holy Week, I understand. Pero dapat talaga after Holy Week, immediately.
Basically, mga paparating na mga deliveries no, from abroad, dapat yun, wala nang excise taxes yun.
Okay. Sige, that's good. Sige, Kong Terry, thank you so much for your time today at ang dami tayong natutunan with regards to the issue of impeachment. And I like I like the commentary you made about the oil crisis as well. For the viewers out there, salamat sa inyong pagpapanood ngayong araw na to. And if you have any questions for Kong Terry or if you agree or disagree with what he says, write it sa comment section sa ibaba. At pag may mga gusto pa kayong mga videos tulad nito, make sure to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and consider becoming a paid member. Salamat sa inyo lahat. Salamat, Kong Terry. Magkita tayo muli sa susunod na video. Alright. Thank you, Kong Terry.
Alright. Thank you.